This is Joseph Emet. I've been teaching mindfulness meditation in Montreal at the Mindfulness Meditation Center for the last 20 years or so. And I'd like to share with you a couple of exercises I've developed over that time. This one is about loosening the grip that thoughts have on the mind. This is an important issue, especially for beginning meditators. You see, thoughts come silently, noiselessly, and take over the mind, and we're not even aware that they are there. Because our attention is usually on what people are doing out there rather than what our mind is doing in here. Well, this exercise makes the thoughts come in with noise, so it's hard to ignore them. The bell is a good metaphor for the mind. It's empty inside. There is room for thoughts, emotions, states of mind. And those things make the mind vibrate, just like the mallet makes the bell vibrate. In this exercise, we will be hearing the mind ring loudly as thoughts come, so it won't be easy to ignore that. By the way, if you don't have a mindfulness bell, check out the bowls you have in the kitchen. You might just find one that does the trick. Like this one. Not bad, right? So, first, some instructions about how to begin meditating. Number one, become aware that you're breathing. We're breathing all the time, but without awareness. In meditation, the first step is becoming aware that we are actually breathing. Take a few breaths with breath awareness. Next step is to slow down the breath. Real slow, like 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. I'll count the seconds for you so that it'll be easier for you to keep track. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Continue like that, breathing in and out slowly and evenly. Now, as you do that, become aware of all the physical sensations of breathing. Make a mental list. Here's what my list would go like. I'm aware of a certain coolness around my nostrils as I breathe in. I'm aware of my belt suddenly. I'm aware that my clothes are shifting to adjust themselves to the shift-shaping abdomen as I breathe in. And even inside my arms, I feel my abdomen expanding. And by the way, this is one reason why in this tradition we meditate in this pose with the hands together rather than like this. You get extra feedback. Now, become aware of visiting thoughts or intruding thoughts. They might be thoughts about what you're going to do next, daydreams about your next vacation, or something about what happened yesterday that you can't get out of your mind. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those. The problem happens when you just keep following a train of thought and you lose connection with your breath, and soon you're lost. You're lost because you're mentally somewhere else, not here. But you're not there either because physically you're here. You see, you're like a ghost. This is a huge issue in many areas. One of them, for example, is driving. Do you think more car accidents happen because people don't know how to drive or because they're distracted? Just think of the huge toll this takes in that one area. This is one example among many. So the breath is our connection to the body, to reality, and in meditation we keep that connection, we stay in touch with the body. Now we come to the crux of this exercise. When you're visited by a thought, ring the bell. This is acknowledging the thought to yourself. Thoughts usually come silently and we're not even aware of them. This is like the mouse trap that catches the mouse. The mouse is there, the sound is there, there's no doubt the thought occurred. When we do this in a small group, everybody has a bell or a bowl in front of them, and it's like a musical performance. You hear different sounds coming from different people, and we smile at our own minds that are producing these thoughts, and we smile at the minds of other people as well. It's a powerful exercise. I recommend that you try this, you do this at least a couple of times. It's an awakening exercise. Awakening to the nature of the mind, how attention works, whether you can focus your attention consciously on the breath, on thoughts, on whatever you want. And then we can go to the next exercise. Now that you have some practice in following the breath and being aware of thoughts without getting lost in them, it's time to try the second exercise. This is about becoming aware of the color of your thoughts, the emotional color. By the way, emotions, mental states, thoughts are closely linked together. Thoughts are sort of the observable upper layer, and I'll be using thoughts through this exercise. Thoughts do have an emotional color. They can be dark like a stormy night with flashes of red anxiety. They can be like the blue sky or gold like the sun. But often we're not aware of their color. In this exercise, your mind will be transparent so you can see through it and notice the color of your thoughts. First, go to the dollar store and get some jelly beans or marbles. You need some red ones for negative thoughts, blue ones for positive thoughts, and white or gray ones for neutral thoughts. I found that it helps to discuss and give examples of these three different kinds of thoughts. Red is thoughts that demonstrate a critical attitude, that where you see what's wrong with a person instead of what's right with them. Thoughts colored by anger, fear, stress, and the like. Blue, or positive, are thoughts of love, of compassion, of hope, gratitude, contentment. And the white ones, neutral thoughts, are thoughts that don't engage you emotionally, like my neighbor bought a white car yesterday. Or next time I have to go to the grocery store, I have to get some celery. Here's the principle behind this exercise. We're aware that the brain creates the mind. But the opposite is also true, that the mind creates the brain, but we're not quite aware of that most of the time. There was a classic research study done on London cabbies. Cabbies in London have to learn to navigate the incredible complexity of streets and by streets and alleys and all the roads in this vast city. And in the process, researchers found that the hippocampus area of their brain grew larger. Hippocampus is the area of the brain dealing with memory. So here's a classical example of your mind creating the brain or changing the shape of your brain. Our thoughts are unwittingly changing the shape of our brain, creating our brain. This exercise addresses this problem and allows you to do this more consciously. Here's the exercise. As a thought crosses your mind, notice its emotional color. If it's a positive thought, pick up a blue marble or jelly bean and put it in the cup. Drop it so that it makes a ping as it falls. If you have a negative thought, a red one. If you have a neutral one, a white one. Keep doing this during a 10-minute meditation session. Keep dropping marbles or jelly beans as thoughts cross your mind and as you're aware of their emotional color. Now, you're not particularly interested in the contents of my mind. You're more interested in your mind. Therefore, this is going to be just a demonstration, a short demonstration to demonstrate how this works. But when you do it, take the time, and as thoughts cross your mind, drop marbles into the glass. This is a wonderful exercise you could do with children. You could do this during a private interview. You could do it with a small group. Everybody has lots of cups in the cupboard. And jelly beans come in large bags, so do marbles. It's a fun exercise. Now, when your 10 minutes are over, you can look at the glass and actually see the color of your thoughts. This is how your mind is growing during the day. These are the contents of your mind. The first step in making a change is to be aware of the issue. And this is an insight, which is a sort of awakening. But an insight, like all items in short-term memory, will be forgotten in less than 30 seconds. There are two things you can do to keep it in memory. One is to do it more than once. The second one is make a sign, something like this. Can you read it? It says, cultivate your heart's garden. And put this sign in front of your meditation cushion. Then when you meditate, you have a theme to go by, a meditation theme. And it slowly becomes part of your meditation procedure. This seems to be a very, very simple exercise. Yet, the point of it has wide-reaching consequences. You see, not many grouches know that they are grouches. Our mental state feels natural to us, and we don't question it a lot of the time. However, it's very important for our health, physical health as well as mental health, for our relationships. Nobody wants to live with a grouch. For our parenting, even for our career success. These issues are discussed more in detail in my last book, Finding the Blue Sky, published by Penguin Random House, soon to be released in French as well. Thank you for listening, and happy meditation.